Well, hey everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. I am coming to you live from lovely, hot Baltimore. I don't know what's going on, but I'm loving it. So I will take it. So if you are new to my channel, or if you just saw the memo saying, hey, do you hate GED math or even the math that's on the ASVAB? And you're like, what does this have to do with anything that I'm doing with life? Well, then this is the live for you. So I'm putting a book together. So I was looking at some sample questions. I was like, let's see if these questions work out. Like this very one, as you can see, is freshly typed. We are saying if f of x equals 2x squared minus 5x plus 3, so I rewrote it down here for you, what is the value of f of negative 2? So is it A, 1, B, 5, C, 15, or D, 21? So if you think you know the answer, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you're not sure, you can use a question mark because we definitely know there's no option E. Yeah, that's fun. So if you do have an idea what it is, go ahead and put it in. So if anything, I basically go over concepts that are usually used in the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, and I know I usually come on at 3 o'clock, but guess what? I have a client, so gonna have to take that one. So I figure I'll just go live a little bit sooner because yesterday I was at jury duty. Oh, so much fun. You don't care about my opinion any other day, except for when it's time for jury duty, right? Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot. But as you can tell, they did not get me. They did not snag me. So let's take a look to see what people are putting in. We have Olivia is saying D21. Thank you so much, Miss Kickbutt, for the send. I love you so much. Hey, Lynette, how are you doing? Victoria, you're saying D. Thank you so much for signing in, Lynette. Okay, I see Olivia, see that? Never seen that power sign. I know, because this is regular script. This is why math workbooks cost so much, because of all the configuring we have to do in order for it to look nice and pretty for you. All right, so MC with the D. We got Nolan with the 5. We have 1.5 and 1. Josh with a D. Random Girl with a D. Is that Jay with a D? Love Coots is with a D. All right, break it down, please. Of course I'm going to break it down. What do you think? I'm just going to leave it up here for you? No. All right. Yes, you are definitely not factoring, because anytime they say the word value, okay, they're not saying, if they want you to factor, they would clearly say the word factor. But if anything, f of x is just basically another way of saying y, because it's called the function of x. So we're saying that this is going to be a function. Notice that the negative 2 and the x are in the same spot. So that's telling me everywhere I see an x in this expression, I'm going to put a negative 2. So I have my 2 here. I have a negative 2 will go there. And everything else just comes on down. Gonna square that bad boy. So now, always think about, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, there is an order of operation. And especially we got to add in that from left to right. So first, inside the parentheses, we don't have anything to combine. So P is done. We have an exponent. This negative 2 is being raised to the second power. This does not mean negative 2 times 2. This is saying, hey, base, which is this, multiply yourself 2 times. So it's saying negative 2 times negative 2. So negative times a negative gives me a positive. So we have a positive 4 here. And then we have to bring our 2. Then we have our negative 5, our negative 2 plus 3. So we took care of the exponent. So now we're doing multiplication or division from left to right. So I'm looking at this line. So I have 2 times 4. So I'm combining these two, and then I'm going to combine these two. So 2 times 4, that gives me 8. Negative 5 times negative 2. Yes, that is a negative 5 times negative 2. That gives me a positive 10. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. 5 times 2 gives me 10, and we bring down the plus 3. So now, took care of that. Now we're doing adding or subtracting from left to right. So we have 8 and 10, that gives me 18. And then we have our 21. So if you said D for 21, excellent job. If you saw something else, do you see what happened? Okay. Thank you so much for the follow-up. What is the P? P's parentheses, Roger. So parentheses are brackets, because I'm not sure, maybe you do BOMDAS. Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, so all you're basically doing is plugging in for the value that's inside the parenthesis for the x, and then you're simplifying. Okay? All right, now, next one. It's going to be this one. So today is going to be a quick one. Yeah. All right, so we're going to solve for x. So we have 3 times x minus 4 equals 5x plus 10. Okay. Nana, why do you say you feel so stupid on test days? No. Stop with that negativity. Okay. How to get the negative 2yg? Because when it said, let me switch over real quick. When it said f of negative 2, this is what we substitute in for the expression, because they told us what x was supposed to represent. Okay, let me plug that back in. Hello, Miss Texas T. Thank you so much. Okay, Kat, what's minus a negative? What's minus a negative? And you might be hearing my recycling people in the background. Okay, so when you minus a negative, it turns positive. Okay, so a minus a negative, it turns positive. Okay, so AV is saying negative 11. Okay, Sean is saying negative 1. Because you have a minus negative 10 next to each other, Kat. Because if you have a minus negative, there's no such thing as a minus negative. So when you have a negative times a negative, when you have negatives next to each other, they turn positive. Okay. Thank you, Post. Positive. All right, so I see negative 1s, I'm seeing negative 11s. So I'm seeing A's and B's. So it seems like there's a fight to the death with the A's and B's. Okay, way or way squared is saying negative 1. Okay, is that Jennifer? With a silent P? Okay, with the negative 1. Okay, you're saying this A, you're saying this A. All right. So let's take a gander. So just like if we're doing solving one thing, I want to get rid of this parenthesis. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to do the distributive property. It will be tough for me to just divide by 3 on both sides, like doing the inverse. So first, let's get rid of the parenthesis. So 3 times x gives me 3x, minus 3 times 4 gives me 12. And then I just simply bring down the 5x plus 10. So now, the goal is when you're solving the equation, you need to have your variable. Isolate your variable. Put your variable on one side of the equal sign. I'm sorry for all my teachers that are out there. It doesn't matter what side it's on. It needs to be on one side of the equal sign, okay? So if you, and I know you want to respect the case, if you're in class and your teacher says put it on the left-hand side, put it on the left-hand side. And if anything, I can show you both ways. So if you want, we could subtract this 5x. So that means I'm saying I'm moving all my x's from the right side to the left side. So in order for me to do that, I have to do the inverse. This is a positive 5. Remember, your signage is always to the left of the number. If you don't see anything there, that means it's positive. So in order for me to move this positive 5x over to the opposite side of the equal sign, I have to do its inverse. That's why we subtract the 5x. So now 3x minus 5x is a negative 2x. So you have $3. You want to buy something that's $5. Well, you are short $2, right? So now I'm saying I want my x's here. But we got this negative 12. So that negative 12 needs to go to the other side as well. So instead of a minus 12, we're going to add 12. Okay, so negative 12 and a positive 12 will give me 0, but I don't need to put that 0 as a placeholder because I already have that negative 2x here. So now if I bring down my equal sign, and what's left is 10 plus 12. That gives me 22. Okay, that gives you 22. Good. So now I want to get x by itself. Negative 2x, that's multiplication. That's negative 2 times x. So in order for me to move that, I have to do the inverse, which is dividing that negative 2. Might as well take care of the negative and the 2 at the same time, which will give me 1x, or I could just simply say x. And then 22 divided by negative 2, a positive divided by a negative will give me a negative, and 22 divided by 2 will give me 11, not 1. Okay? And I know why a lot of people that did say 1, you probably subtracted the 12 on both sides, and you got like a negative. So it is going to be a negative 11. Now, if you're asking, well, what happens if I did it the other way? All right, well, I'll just show you. So if you had 3x minus 12 is equal to 5x plus 10, like we did our distribution perfectly fine, and you decided to subtract the 3x on both sides, but then you don't add 10 on both sides, you have to subtract 10 on both sides. So now here, you're going to have not a negative 12, it's a negative 22. When the signs are the same, you are adding them. Okay, when the signs are the same, you're adding them together and you're keeping the signage. Equals, signs are different, so we're going to subtract. So that gives me a positive 2x. I have $5. I spent $3. That means I still have $2. Yay. Divide both sides by 2. X equals negative 11. Okay, so no matter what, you're going to get the same answer. Okay? Okay, no need for negativity, no need for insulting people because you don't know their situations. We don't know your situations. Some of you guys are probably still in school. Some of you guys haven't been out of school, or you have been out of school for years and you're thinking about going back to school. So here's my thing. Keep your negativity comments to yourselves. This is nothing but positively here. If you're too bored, hey, that's fine. But because you made a comment, now I'm in your algorithm and you're in mine. You're always going to see my stuff. So, okay. All right. So you're in college and you need help. Yep. Yep. Because if you can commute, exactly. Okay, so that means when you commute, think about the distance that you take from your home to school and from your school to home is exactly the same. So that is because of the commutative property. I forgot who said that. What about grouping? Grouping is only when you're factoring, and we're not factoring. Chastity. Good job, Chastity. Because it's the commutative property. So you're trying to get your GED? All right, let's go. Let's get it. All right, so number 7. So which of the following is equivalent to 2x plus 3 and x minus 5? Okay, so all of these little symbols is basically saying that these 2's are the exponents. So maybe, again, it just simply fresh off the printer. So this will be x squared minus 7x minus 15. I'll try to switch different colors so it won't get too crazy. This one is x squared plus 7x minus 15. Oops. This one is 2x squared minus 13x minus 15. And last but not least, we have 2x squared plus 13x minus 15. Well, we see a common theme with the first term and the last term, but there's something happening in the middle term. So which of them is our answers? Who never learned multiplication and division? So is that Kiesha? Tate? I actually have a couple books on the A. I gotta figure out, I know, I can't say the name of it because all of a sudden get like dinged and everything. And you're probably like, the A, what's the A? You know, the brown box with the smiley face on it. Where is it? This thing, okay? That is for multiplication and division. It's like mini flashcards. And it also gives you like an answer key to use. So you can practice up actually matching the cards and actually seeing how to do it. Okay? So a positive times a negative is negative. Correct, Punisher. There you go. Okay? Got foil? Do it. Of course, there's like a shorter way too. Okay? Positive times a negative. Can you answer? Of course, put the answer in. You can always put your answer in. So I got some A's. I got full method. Alfie with the A. The Fonz is with the A. How did 7x turn into 13x? Well, that's what you're supposed to tell me, Jay. Because these are the translations of our answer choices. Because when I said, like, I just typed them up. And, of course, my the equation for math was not translating. So I just have to do all that. But I wanted to put something up here for you. I wanted to see how we're doing. Okay, we got A with Emmy with A, Emma with an A, Math Gene with an A. Okay. All right, so MJ Cat is saying with an A. A negative times a negative is positive. Yes, a negative times a positive is negative. So think of it this way. If you're multiplying or dividing and the signs are the same, it's positive. If you're multiplying and dividing and the signs are different, that means one's positive, one's negative, your answer is negative. Okay, that happens for multiplying and dividing. But what happens, a lot of people mix it up when you're adding and subtracting. That's when it really gets people. Okay, so here is Audrey as a test taker. All right, because that's usually who I'm trying to attract when it comes to these things. But I know I have some people that are currently in the classroom or also are teachers themselves. So here's one way instead of doing the whole foiling. I will show both. Actually, let me show the foiling first and then I'll show you the shortcut. I think that'll be very equivalent. So when we're doing our foiling, we are basically distributing this first term, which is that 2x, to everything in the second parenthesis. So we are saying, let me raise this up a bit. We're saying that 2x times x, that gives me 2x squared. Then 2x times negative 5, that gives me negative 10x. Now, once we get that, then we're going to take this positive 3 and we're going to multiply that to everything in the second parenthesis. I don't like to say the word FOIL because a lot of the students get caught up with, well, which are the outer, which are the inner? All you're doing is a distributive property twice. You're taking your first parenthesis, taking each of the term, and giving it a chance to distribute into the second parenthesis. So now we have positive 3x, that gives me plus 3x. And now we have 3 times negative 5, that gives me a negative 15. Now, if you notice, right smack in the middle, we have our like terms. This is where I think someone asked me, how do we get 7 and 13? This is where that's coming from. So you have a negative 10 and you have a positive 3. So you owe me $10. You gave me 3. That means you still owe me $7. Once I see that, everything else comes on down. So my minus 15 will come down here, and my 2x squared will come down here. So then that will give me my answer of A. Okay, so that's doing it as a distributive property. Okay, now here's another way. Same problem. Now I'm using this as a test-taking strategy. So these are for all my standardized test takers. So GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, TEAS test, HESI test, SAT, ACT, what have you. If they give you something, look at your answer choices. I noticed that all my answer choices begins with a 2x squared and they end with a negative 15. So what's different is the middle terms. So why not just figure out the middle term? And this is how you do it. I'm going to multiply these two interior, and then I'm going to multiply my two exterior. Then I'm going to add those bad boys together. So multiply the two interiors, so that's 3 times x, that gives me 3x. Multiply my two exterior, that's 2x times negative 5, that gives me a negative 10x. So now add those two numbers together. 3 plus negative 10 is exactly the same thing. You owe me $10, you paid me 3, that means you owe me 7. And just bring down the x. Then you take a look to see which of your answer choices gives you a negative 7x. That will give you A. Okay. Yep, there's a box method. You can learn the box method for that. That's fine. But I'm just trying to figure out ways to kind of help you guys get from point A to point B a lot quicker, especially if you're taking these standardized tests and you don't want to have to remember a lot of formulas, okay? And I always say there's multiple ways of getting the right answer. All right, so here we go. Number 8 in this case, number 4 for us. Solve the inequality. Negative 4x plus 7 is less than 19. Is it A, x is less than negative 3, B, x is greater than negative 3, C, x is less than 3, or D, x is greater than 3? Seeing a trend. Okay. Okay, I'm very okay saying this B. Steph is saying this B. Victor B. July born A. Thanks for sharing the live. My star child saying B. Okay, Ramen saying B. Exclusively Punisher, Katie, daughter. Is that Kara? with A, Punisher, Jared. We got a bunch of B's. We have a couple of D's. Yo-ho, we got that. We got Blad. Cesar with a B. K-Bands with a B. Okay, with our B's, we got our B's. And remember, if you're not sure, don't just put an E, put a question mark. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so let's take a look because we got a lovely little mixture. We got some B's, we got some C's. Okay, thank you, Yoda Mom. Appreciate your honesty. Caden, we have an A. So we got tons of stuff. Now, when you're solving an inequality, it's similar. Notice I didn't say the same. It's similar to solving the equation. The goal is similar. We want to get our variable by itself, but also we're looking for a true statement. So if we take our original, we have our negative 4x plus 7 is less than 19. So first thing I want to do, I want to get rid of this 7. So since it's a plus 7, I have to do the inverse, which is minus 7. Okay, always doing the inverse. So I'm going to bring down my negative 4x. Yes, positive 7, negative 7 does give me a 0, but I don't need that 0 as a placeholder because I already have my negative 4x. Bring down my less than, 19 minus 7, that gives me a positive 12. So now I need to get rid of that negative 4. So it's negative 4 times x. So the inverse of times is division. So now this is when inequalities show their difference. So I divided right here by a negative number. So when it comes to inequalities, I am going to still have an x. I am still going to have a negative 3. But my inequality symbol has to change every time I multiply or divide by a negative number. So it's actually going to be greater than. Now, if you don't, you will come up with an answer, but it's not going to be right. So if let's just say, playing devil's advocate, we're going back to the original equation. Say we want to try it out. Say we didn't. I'm going to put it in red, so don't write this part down. Say we didn't change the inequality sign, and we got x is less than negative 3. A number less than negative 3, and I'm going to make it easy for myself, is negative 4. Okay? So if I go back to my original, I'm going to say negative 4 times negative 4, that gives me a positive 16. And then 16 plus 7, that gives me 23. Is 23 less than 19 a true statement? Okay. Yep. Okay. So that's the thing. No, thank you, Nanish. How are you? Thank you, boss man. There it is. Okay. So if you don't flip the inequality sign and you try to plug it back into your original, you're not going to get true statements. Okay. But if I did, so this is wrong. So if I did get a number larger than negative 3, and I'm going to make it easy for myself, I'm going to say 0 because 0 is definitely larger than negative 3. So if I plug a 0 back into that original inequality, anything times 0 is going to be 0. And then 0 plus 7 is going to be 7. And that means we're going to get 7 is less than 19. That is a true statement. So that's why it's important when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number that you have to flip the inequality sign. So yes, our answer is B. Okay, so not only do I have to do that, when you're dividing and multiplying, yes, V. Lopez, yes. Only when you're dividing and multiplying by a negative number. Adding, subtracting, nope, they can stay the same because that's exactly what we did here. When we subtract the 7, we didn't change the inequality sign. Okay, only when you're multiplying and dividing. All right. Okay. All right. Got a couple more. So let's see. I appreciate you guys are giving the lights. If we can definitely raise it up to at least 12K so we can tell TikTok, hey, this is something that people should be watching. Now, if you also need extra practice with these, I am selling these workbooks called Algebra at Your Pace. Okay, it's a whole series, and I will be finishing up the series tonight, okay, of workbooks that goes from all the way from basic, which is just looking at integers, the types of numbers, all the way up to your geometric, looking at your graphs, looking at probability, looking at factoring, also rational functions, anything that you would normally see in Algebra 1 to help you with your GED, your ASVAB, your ACCUPLACER, any kind of test that hits hard with the algebraic reasoning. Okay, that's the part that's getting you guys. All right, especially slope. So now, we're saying if, and let me rewrite this, x squared plus 10x plus k. I'll make it pretty for the book. All right, hold on. It's a little blurry. Don't know why. There we go. There she is. Okay, so if x squared plus 10x plus k is a perfect square trinomial, what is the value of k? Is it A, 5, B, 10, C, 25, or D, 100? Okay. Yes, it is. It's already there, Breeway. With all my other books. Yep. All of it's there. Except for the last one, which is 14 and 15, because it looks like that is going to actually be a downloadable. All right, so I got a bunch of C's. I got some 25s, 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 a C, a C, a C, a 25, a C, a 25. Take over the 25. G, thank you for your honesty, not sure. Okay, Susso is saying C. You're not even going to pretend to know. That's all right, Punisher. Okay, IDK. All right, I got you. Okay, Nico, I see you with D. Caden with a D. I see you, Caden. Nanish, okay. Thank you for your honesty. Badoma, good. Thank you for your honesty. You're not sure? Okay. All right. Serene, not sure. Got you. 25. All right. Okay. Now, this is when we were doing factoring. When my leading coefficient is 1. And I will always do this cross. And I would say my A times my C over my B. In this case, it's 1 times our K, which is just K, over 10. So let's think about it. What two numbers multiplied together will give us this unknown number here, but add together to give it this one? Well, since we're looking for a perfect square, we're going to need to be the same number on both sides. So let's think of it. What two numbers add together will give me 10? And they have to be the same number. 420, there you go. Your brain hurts? That's all right, it's working. We got this. Yes. Mine. Yes. Good. Maria. Yes. Nanish. Yes. Depth. Yes. Z. Yes. Okay. So it has to be the same number add together to give me 10. So guess what? In order to fill this spot, these two numbers have to multiply to each other. So 5 times 5, that gives us 25. Okay. All right. So we use what we know, and we're thinking, okay, it has to be two numbers, two of the same numbers because they want it perfect. Add together to give me 10. Well, that's 5 plus 5. Well, then multiply 5 times 5 to figure out what goes in that spot. And 5 times 5 gives me 25. Okay. It's okay. No, you don't hate math. You just hate how you feel when math comes around. And it's okay. All right? You're not that scared little kid anymore. So, SQRT, that's supposed to mean square root of 72. So, I want you to simplify the square root of 72. So, the answer choices are going to be this. 6, the square root of 2. Then we have 2, the square root of 6. Then we have 36, square root of 2. And last but not least, 9, square root of 8. Okay. What I've written here is basically what these answer choices are saying. So breaking down 72. So we got a couple A's. You thought it was C. We got a C. All right. You're going to go with your gut. You're going to say D. Okay. You're terrible, though. That's okay. You just need to take your time. Now you don't have to really rush. We just have to do it. We're just doing math. So we got D's, we got A's, we got D's, mine's with a C, Noah with an A, Ellie with a D. Is that TD with an A? Okay, that was a novel, sorry. But we got A's, we got D's, we got C's. Okay, we got some people who are trying. Okay, Randy, thank you for your honesty. Okay, you're like, I don't know. And I was like, it's okay. Okay, Ashley with a D. Yes, Penny with an A. Got to be C. We got D's. Okay, so now let's take a look. I know by process of elimination, I am going to cancel out D. Here's why. I'm looking underneath this square root, this radical. That square root of 8 can be broken down even further with my perfect prime combination, which is 4 and 2. Because I know 4 times 2 can give me 8, and the square root of 4 is a perfect square root, which gives me 2. Okay? So now we're going to take a look. We need 72. So we need to figure out what two numbers multiplied together will give me a 72. And if you're not that strong, because it happens, it happens to the best of us. If you're not that strong with your multiplication, I also sell this and as a part of my listing of stuff, I have what's called a factor sheet. And some people have seen these factor sheets before. So we're looking at 72. And I have factors of 72. So we have 2 and 36, 3 and 24, 4 and 18, 6 and 12, 8 and 9. But notice there's one in red. When it's written in red, it's basically telling you the perfect prime combination for factoring. So this will get you to your answer so much quicker. So if I use the square root of 36 and square root of 2, I can break it down to get my answer a lot quicker. Because the square root of 36 is a perfect square root, which gives me 6, because 6 times 6 gives me my 36. Now, the square root of 2 is prime. So that means I can't break it down. If I can't break it down, I just bring it down. So my answer here is going to be 6 times the square root of 2, which is answer choice A. C was rather close, but the only thing is that 36 had to be underneath a square root. The only way it can come out is when it's already perfect. Okay? All right? The only way that it can come out of a square root, it has to be perfect. Okay? All right. Okay. Now, here's more advancement. Not a problem. So I got a couple more before I have to skedaddle. All right, so we're solving for x. Okay, solving for x. So this may not be super familiar with some people, but let me put it in plain English. We have log base 2. So here are log base 2 of x equals 5. Okay, that's the traditional writing. Okay, so a lot of you guys, if you're currently in the classroom, a lot of you guys should be on this by now, especially if you're taking, I want to say Algebra 2. Algebra 2 or some form of algebra, because I've been doing a lot of this lately. Okay, all right. Do I come on every day? I wish I can say yes, but there are times I know on Wednesday I will not be on here. And if I do come on, I'll probably have to come on early, the 1 to 1:15 time, almost every day. All right. So nope, it's not the natural log, because remember, natural log has a base of e. This isn't a base of e. This is a base of 2. So if it was an e, a letter e, yeah, that'll be natural log. Okay. Okay. Yep, we don't even have to go too far. A lot of you guys are giving me my C's. A lot of you guys are giving me 25, which is a B. Yep, I used to. And now I have my own tutoring business for the last 6 years. So if you want an online tutoring with me, my tutoring service costs $87 an hour. Yes, $87 an hour, and I'm worth every penny. All right. When do I help out with TEAS tests? A lot of this stuff that I'm doing is for TEAS. It's on that TEAS exam. Okay. Yep. Worth every dollar and every cent. All right. Okay. So this is what we have to do. We have to move this from a logarithmic to an exponential. So this is what happens with the exponential. You have your base, then you have your exponent, and it equals your result. When it's as a log, this is your base, this is your exponent, and this is your result. Okay, so I like to put it in football terms. When you are on the line and you're ready to tackle, you don't tackle straight on, because you don't want your head hitting someone's shoulder, crack, dead. We don't want that. Okay, when you hit, you got to get low and raise up. Okay, anytime you hit low, you hit low and you raise up. So that's exactly what's happening here. So what's happening here, we're taking our base of 2, we're going underneath the line of scrimmage, and we're hitting high. So we're putting that 5 up as an exponent. So you have a base of 2, your exponent is 5, and what you just left behind is your result. Okay, so when you go from a log to exponential, you start with the base, and then you go past the equal sign to push this number up to an exponent. Okay. All right. So now we have 2 to the 5th power. Okay. That doesn't mean 2 times 5. So A is out. 2 to the 5th power, that means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And we know that 2 times 2 will give me 4. And 4 times 4 gives me 16. And I just need to bring down this times 2. So 16 times 2, that will give us our 32. So our answer is going to be C. Okay. All right, they love to sneak something like that, especially for the ASVAB and the TEAS test. They always do that, and ACCUPLACER. Now, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, we do not, and I repeat, do not I don't use the calculator too often because I got to practice the way I'm going to play. Because when you're taking your GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, you are not allowed to use a calculator. So you're going to have to learn those math skills, especially multiplication and exponents. If you can get those down and solid, you can do a lot of advanced mathematics. Trust and believe. Okay. All right. Now, one more, and then we are through for tonight. Okay, what is the roots of the equation? Again, can't wait to sit down and do these. So we have x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. So all of my factoring peoples, all of my advanced algebra 1, all of my algebra 2s, okay, all of my GEDs. GED, this is a 4-point question. So you need to know this. So do not leave. Do not leave. All right, because you're not going to get, because the way the GED is designed, it's great if you get all the easy questions done, but if you skip anything dealing with slope, the equation of the line, system of equations, factoring, volume, you will not pass. And I can tell by your score if you skipped those problems. Because if you're coming to me with like a 142, or you're like, oh, I just missed it, 142 or 143, I know you skipped those problems. You can't skip any of those. You got to get at least 3 of them down in order for you to pass. Okay? I'm speaking my truth. When people listen, people have been passing. So I don't know. All right. So I got a bunch of A's. Took a pretest, scored a 140. Did you skip any of those problems, Sherry? Okay, Caden's got A. Noah's got A. All right. Paul with a B. Caden, I see that. Thank you so much for the follows. Okay. Do it. I know you got some home training. You did, Candy. I love how you didn't say anything. Congratulations. Good job. All right. What's this all about? Can I pay anybody's rent? If so, message me. All right. These nuts. Yeah, you don't want to mess with Candy. Don't let the name fool you, because she'll curse you out in a second. That's why we friends. So now, the leading coefficient is 1, so I'm going ahead and splitting my x's. So now we got to think, what 2 numbers, remember when we did this? What 2 numbers multiplied together will give me a negative 14 and add together to give me a negative 5? So negative 7 and a positive 2. Because negative 7 times 2 will give me a negative 14. Negative 7 plus 2 will give me a negative 5. So the negative 7 will be here. The positive 2 will be here. So what they want to know when they say the roots or the zeros, they want to know what's making x equal. What's going to make x into a 0 to make this expression equal to a 0. So it's like this. So x minus 7 equal to 0. They want to know what x is going to equal. And then we have x plus 2, have that equal to 0. And they want to know what's going to make this equal. So if I add 7, I got my x is equal to 7. So knowing this as a test taker, if I'm doing standardized tests and I'm not in the classroom, once I see this, or sometimes once I look in here and I see the opposite, I want to do the opposite of minus 7 will be a positive 7, immediately I'm looking at the answer choices. So since I have a positive 7 and there's no other positive 7s, it has to be A. But I will finish it for those that are still in the classroom. So we subtract our 2. So that gives us x is equal to negative 2. So I know everybody's like, oh, plug it in. But they're asking, what are the roots? And as well, it's a multiple choice question. don't waste time. Now, if it wasn't a multiple choice question, they say, what is the solution? Yes, plug it in to make sure you don't have extraneous solutions. All right. Well, thank you. Roots, what does that mean? It's basically your x-axis. So like if I were to draw it and +7, -2, let's say my parabola is doing this. It's going to be opening upwards because this is positive. So we have a 7 and we have a -2. So it's where the graph is crossing the x-axis. Okay. All right. Okay. So before I skedaddle, I will be finishing up on my algebra at your pace. If you feel that, hey, Audrey, I need more practice on this, definitely take a look at my algebra at your pace. Volumes 1 through 13 should be out on the A. But be on the lookout for the latest one because you guys keep asking me this blessed question over and over and over again. When will we ever use this math? When are we ever going to put this in process? Well, bless it, I made a book for it. So I'm just doing the finishing touches on it. And what I do is basically real careers that use algebra. So I looked at the 5 different career clusters that's out there. Some of them is going to have some AI generated stuff involved in it and may be replaced in the next 5 years, but a great majority of them is still going to be active. So I focused on 12 that's still going to be active. And I did a breakdown of those careers. What are the things that you need? What math that's involved? As well as I gave you a 25-question career math readiness quiz to see if you're ready for that career, right? So you're always asking, I got to be an engineer. No, you don't. There's tons of careers out there. And I was shocked to see these. And I was like, okay, if I do all the careers, this book is going to be huge. So I just said, look, let me just focus on 12. Originally, I was going to do just 5. You're welcome. And then I'm connecting more practice questions that is like clustered base so you can get all those practice. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm shooting for Saturday, but I'll make a big launch of it. And then I'll just come on live to break a lot of this stuff down. So I know. Well, thank you. Recalling your traumas, of course, because here's my thing. I was never smart with math. I used to suck at math. And for some reason, one lady told me, Audrey, why are you so afraid of fractions? All you have to do is division. And for some reason, it just opened my mind. And I wanted to know, all right, what else was given to me? So this is why I do these books, not just for fame and fortune. Well, it'll be nice to have some fortune so I can pay off my bills and stuff, but to give you guys notice that you have greatness within you and you can definitely get this stuff done. But you got to want to have to do the work. All right. So if you are interested into any of my books and everything, the link is in the bio. Okay. You could definitely go to the A if you want to research it. And the name of it is Algebra at Your Pace. But this one, give me a little time to officially launch it. I'm thinking about either Friday, but at the most Saturday, just in case I might have to do some tweaks. Okay. But if you have any questions and you're like, look, I need tutoring now, I have my $87 in my sweaty hands, make sure you message me. Or if you're not sure what book you should start on, make sure you message me. I'd rather you message me, and don't just message me hi because I'm going to delete it. I'm just going to let you know that. Tell me what you need help with. Okay. Tell me what you need assistance with. Okay. When am I coming back on? I have no idea. Yes. I try to give everyone hope. All right, MJ, welcome in for being brand spanking new. It's definitely not going to be tomorrow. I will try to be on again Thursday, probably around this time, because I have a kiddo at 3, so I can't do that 3:00 slot that I was doing before. So yeah, and tomorrow is going to be insane. That's all I can say. So probably Thursday afternoon, maybe around 1:15. Again, like I did today. Okay? All right. So, and if anything, give me a long time. If you ever need to take a look, or if you need something right here, right now, let me move this out of the way so you guys can screenshot it. All of my TikTok lives are here. Okay, just go here and subscribe, people. I'm trying to get my 1,500. I know there's a lot of people watching it because things are going up. Go ahead and subscribe to it. It's brand spanking new. So then you'll know when the new ones have come up, because sometimes you guys can't make my lives, right? We've got this thing called, I don't know, life in the way. But also, this is what I do for tutoring. So Algebra 1, Algebra 2, college algebra, geometry, pre-calculus. Calculus is not my jam. But do I know some people that do it? Yes, I do. And I'm going to introduce them in the back. Yep, life be lifing. Hard. Okay, so these are a couple people, especially for some people that are mentioning TEAS tests and everything. If you haven't, also follow Impact Math 19 with Miss Taylor. She also does GED and ASVAB and also worksheets. If you are a TEAS or going into nursing, a blessed RN to help you with the dosage calculations. If you're not following her, I don't know how you're doing the dosage calculations. You're going to try to kill somebody. So let's not. Okay, let's not. If you need help with chemistry, because AP Chem test is coming right around the corner. But if you need anybody to help you with chemistry, make sure you go to Professor TK. My friend Lynette is great with understanding the basics of math. Like, how do we formulate? How did we do life before there was addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division signs? And then if you need help with calculus, I think he does. He told me he went from 12th grade. Hold on. Sorry. Puzzle piece. Okay. So if you do need help, he does tutoring for a lot of other things, but I also know him as help for the calc tutor. Just make sure you look for Mr. M. All of these guys are here on TikTok. Okay, all of them are here on TikTok. So just go for a quick follow, send them a message, tell them I sent you if that helps. But make sure you're getting all that. You need dosage calculation help? Yes. A blessed RN? Yes. I'm telling you, you just sit there for one live, you're going to be like, oh my God. It's that easy? Yes, because she takes all the BS out of it and she just gets right down to the nitty gritty. And she is an RN, so she's an active RN. So she's not going to give you any bull. All right? Yes, these are their names. So if you want to go ahead and take a screenshot, you can do that. So definitely anything that you guys need. If you need a tutor for younger, I think Mr. M does younger, like early, like late elementary, all the way up to calculus. Yeah, that's not me. I take 7th grade and up to adults. That's enough. That's enough to make my blood pressure go all kinds of crazy. All right. Okay. You'll be at work. I know. Okay. So if anything, if you have questions, ask them. Okay, send me a request. I'll respond back to you. But if you're talking about do you want to be my sugar baby? How about you be my sugar mama? Oh, you're very beautiful today. Just save it. I appreciate it, but I'm just not going to entertain that. Okay, there's too many stalkers up in this piece. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. And definitely catch her on her lives. And if anything, if you don't hear from her like in about a day or during this day, just let me know. So if any other ways, make sure you guys are following me here on TikTok. You can follow me on the A, okay? And like I said, for the YouTube, for the YT, you can say that as well. But if you are feeling so obliged to go to a Google review, you want to learn a little bit more about me, go ahead, type in ACG Math Tutoring. Look me up. Do what you gotta do, boo. You can look up Audrey Codner and you'll probably see a lot of my basketball conquests that I have done. Yep, I used to be a professional basketball player. All this and brains too. All right. Okay. Gotta skedaddle. You guys have an amazing day, and just give me a long time for me to upload all this so I can put it on this. All right. Have a great day, and I will possibly see you guys on Thursday. Okay. Take care. Bye.